uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
Welcome to the Opposition Perspective on Focus on Liberia. This is Dennis Jah along with my co-host Anthony Sear, and we are broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia. Mr. Sear, welcome to the show.
Dennis, the Opposition Perspective is a kind of political program here at Focus on Liberia with Rabba Monsieur Kwade that has been ongoing for some time. And we have a little break and we are back. I'm excited to be here. Folks joining us here, we want to say welcome to yet another edition of the Opposition Perspective with Rabba Monsieur Kwade. Rabba Monsieur Kwade is a figure in the opposition bloc, and we are happy to be here always with Rabba to discuss issues from the opposition perspective. Then I think I'm ready for this.
And Mr. Sear, I think it's important that with the proliferation of partisan platforms, and what we try to do here is to do our best to educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia, regardless of which side, which aisle, which political, socio-economic persuasion. And so it is very important to have an opposition perspective, a show devoted exclusively to hearing the opposition side. A lot of time in Liberia, people like to look at things once in binary faction. You either opposition or you pro-government. We are saying, no, this is not the case. We are more than just opposition and pro-government. This is Liberia, and that's why when we focus on Liberia, we do all things Liberia. So I'm very happy that an opposition figure like Robert Monsieur Kwade, his colleagues call him the general, has agreed to share every other week what the opposition thinks about things that are going on in the country. And so for today, we're going to look at the president's visit to Lofa County. We're going to look at the opposition path to 2023 victory. And even with that, we want to hear the opposition perspective about the opposition. It always says you don't see yourself as others see you. So I'm very excited that we're going to hear from Monsieur on the opposition perspective concerning things that are going on in the motherland.
Thank you. And Danny, that is true. Folks, bear with us here. Rabba is joining us. The weather in Monrovia is challenging. I understand it's raining. That's why I think Rabba tried to indicate to us here. So connectivity is a kind of poor, but Rabba will be here. He's here, by the way, and we will be bringing him. We want to hear from him. Daniel was trying to tell you, I'm hungry. President, we asked tour to Lofa County. This is Omen Bwaka. I don't know why I like the Omen thing. This is former Vice President Joseph Yuman Bwaka's stronghold. This is his county. And President, we went into his backyard, as we say in football. What is he up to? We know he has been visiting most of the counties. But to have gone into Lofa County, which having to be the county, the stronghold and backyard of Omen Joseph Yuman Bwaka, we want to know what he's up to. I mean, is he trying to change the dynamics in his favor? Is that what he's up to here? Rabba Monsieur Kwade is here. We have some tough questions.
And right Mr. Sear, Lofa County is very important, right? Because the vice president is from Lofa County. Don't mind that she's representing Bon County, but originally she's from Lofa. And then she made a trip. So as you said, the president is going into VP Bwaka's backyard. You keep calling him Omen. I don't know if you didn't see his number 9 on the beach.
Yeah, I saw the man with the number 9 on the beach. So I apologize for calling him Omen. Yeah, I apologize.
So Vice President Jewel Howard Taylor was with the president in Lofa County. And you could see the pump and pageant tray. What does that mean? This is Lofa County's song. And prior to the president going, the VP, the former vice president, issue a statement, say, hey, Lofa, the president is coming, be very hospitable, because there were rumors, according to what the statement was trying to imply, that there were, rumors that people were going to demonstrate or would not welcome the president the way they should. And so VP Bouaka issued a statement encouraging his people, the Lufens, to say, hey, go out and celebrate the president. He's our president. We have one president at a time. I don't know to what extent that changed the dynamics, that helped with anything. We're going to see. Robert Mosiokpada is going to answer those questions for us.
Then that is true. I didn't know all along that the current Vice President Joel Howard Taylor shares some nativity with Lofa County. I didn't know that. I mean, if that is what I'm hearing from you, I mean, then the current government tried to be a little more strategic. And those of you listening to us, I'm a political guy. I have no side. I just talk politics for what it is. Then honestly, it's a strategic move. But what I don't get here is how would that pay off? We have heard the current Vice President Joel Howard Taylor cry many times about how she's not being given the necessary attention and respect, how she's not being allowed to play her role. Pretty much she was politically being more or less sidelined. We heard from her many times, she's not being respected according to her. And so to see this immediate turnaround of things, and then she's making a trip to Lofa County, and Lofa County is not the only county president we have visited so far. He went to most of the counties or all of the counties as well, but she did not show up. But Lofa, that she having to have some roots, and then she went there. What was she up to? Is this a woman trying to say, hey, I am part of Lofa too? And so whatever you do, remember me as your daughter. Comes 2023, remember me as your daughter. She's trying to pull some votes away from Joseph Yuman Bouaka. I think CDC is trying to be a little more strategic and calculative here.
And Mr. CA, in politics, 3 weeks or 3 months is a lot of time. So a lot can change, right? So in spite of what we've heard or the rumors or sometimes it was not in fact rumors that the VP, Joel Howard Taylor, has been complaining, but there's plenty of time to turn things around. And the move in Lofa now is suggesting to us that there is a turn signal going on now. I'm hearing the blinking, and Lofa may be out for for play. And this is all based on the assumption that is if VP Bouaka represents the CPP, and then there is this play in Lofa. So the CDC now is trying to say, hey, let's get things started here. And Joel Howard Taylor, who gave us Bond County, can also deliver Lofa County, and we have plenty of time to work things out, make things right with the vice president, and see what she can pull out of the hat for us in Lofa. And I think that's a strategic move. Time will tell what the dividends will be.
Time will certainly tell, Dennis, and I agree with you. Whichever way you look at it, Joel Howard Taylor trying to be on board with the CDC, it would be better for the CDC compared to she walking away. So I hope they are calculating very well. I have one person who some time ago registered this, inclination that I don't think the VP were going to stick to the CDC or giving her cries and all that. How can she make that decision? But this is the very vice president we saw on a tour with President Weah. And it was just kind of like shocking for me for her to make that decision. But again, they signed this deal sometime back. Maybe they're trying to keep the ship going. So we'll see how that will play out. But going into Omen Bouaka's backyard with somebody that popular, I think it was strategic whichever way you look at it. We'll see what I will pay them that dividend they're looking for. Rabo Mosiokpada is back, but again, folks, bear with us. Connectivity is extremely poor in Liberia. This is the third time Rabo joining us now, and he has fallen off. Rabo Mosiokpada is an opposition figure, and for your information, he is an ardent supporter of Joseph Yuman Bouaka. And let me give you some privileged information. He is also the speech writer of Joseph Yuman Bouaka. So who we better have, and also he's from Lofa County. So who can we better have in this edition of the opposition perspective than is when we are talking about, VP Boakai chances in his own county, with somebody who writes his speech, who shares the same county with him, and who is a political savvy guy. He communicates in a most intellectually forceful way. He takes no prisoners when it comes to handling the ruling CDC. So we should have this guy, but then the questions we have for him, I guarantee you he's going to sweat. And we're not going to take it easy with him here.
Right. And we're talking about the VP. Historically, our vice presidents have not been playing that significant role, or have not been very conspicuous when it comes to politics and doing things that really vice presidents should be doing. So we saw that with former Vice President Joseph Nyeman Boakai, who described himself as a race car being parked. And so to see your VP, Joel Howard Taylor, not playing a significant role is like part of our history. It's something that we already accustomed to, that presidential candidates often use vice president for votes. And after the election, they put them on the side and start to do their own thing. And so we haven't, in recent history, we haven't seen much coming from any vice president whatsoever. And so the thing with Joel Howard Taylor and George Weah is really not surprising. Now, as election comes around, they try to turn things around, use VP Taylor on the campaign trail. Not strange, but it is what we have in Liberia. VP, very nominal role. I don't know if Vice President Boakai was a race car parked. I don't know how we're going to describe Joel Howard Taylor this time.
Well, folks in the opposition, in their criticism of Joel Howard Taylor, will go by saying, well, at least Oman Joseph Nyeman Boakai was a race car, and that he was not just any ordinary car, but a race car, a car that has this capacity of running as a speed compared to no any other vehicle. So that means they try to make the case that he have had this potential. But as for Joel Howard Taylor, she was not even parked. She was not even in the garage. And so for us to have seen her jump out of nowhere and on this trip, I mean, it was shocking. But Robert, we hope that the connectivity will be stable. We are hungry to hear from you. So while we're waiting on you here, we are just doing a little bit of analytical commentary here. Let's put you in the middle because I got some punches to throw. I hope you are stable now. Welcome.
Welcome.
I hope I'm stable. I'm trying. The weather is pretty bad here. I don't know whether that's a reason. That's why I keep going. Trying to get him to wake up the other phone. So there's a little bit of technical problem. I don't know why I say, but it's challenging. But can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
we hear you. Robert, we can hear you.
Then you call Ansoni on WhatsApp.
Can you say what?
If the problem persists, then call any one of us on WhatsApp.
Okay, I think pretty much that's good.
Yeah, it's a little more stable right now, Robert. So let's do that. And if you fall off again, then you call me or Dennis on WhatsApp, and then we can do it from here. But you seems to be pretty stable right now.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
And then your
with Robert Monsieur Pade.
Robert, our audio seems to be good. It's your audio that's a little bit choppy. But say something again. Let's see.
Maybe let me go back off and call back and come back.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Call Ansoni on WhatsApp. I don't think this is going to work.
Yeah, we I think he froze there and it's not gonna work from what I see.
On WhatsApp, let's do it through WhatsApp. We have so much to cover. We can't.
We have so much to cover. The audience are waiting. I mean, I have questions, and to those of you who are watching us, we encourage you to bear with us. We try to get the best connection as much as possible to have Robert answer these tough questions that we have for him. He's a supporter of Joseph Nyeman Boakai. He's the speech writer. They share the same county. not trying to tell you anything other than they sharing the same nativity. But this is key. In politics, you need to have your terrain, you need to have your stronghold. Nothing wrong with that. And you want to make sure that your stronghold is strong enough. I see Robert is calling here, Dennis.
Yeah, let's do that.
The general? All right, the general, I think I can hear you. Yeah. Yeah, Dennis?
Yeah.
Is it loud enough?
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's not loud, and I'm not close to my speaker to connect. Yeah, I'm not close to my speaker. But Robert, stay there, Dennis. Be there. I'm gonna leave to see if I can get a speaker closer here.
All right.
Yeah.
So Robert, how you doing? Robert, can you hear me? All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the opposition perspective with Robert Monsiokpare. And in the show tonight, we're going to be looking at a few issues. Number one, President Weah's tour in Lofa County. I believe he's still there in Lofa. We're going to look at that and see this whole county tour. Probably this is the fifth of tour now. Is it going to last all year round? What is it? What are the benefits this is bringing? Or is this just political? And we also see that our people, especially those outside of Montserrado County, there is this respect for the incumbent. So anytime there is an incumbent, because most of the time people in the interior feel a privilege for the president to visit them. And so they're very, very much excited. I think when the president did the first tour, the signs were good. And so he said, well, if this is good, why don't I keep doing it? And so we've had maybe the fourth or the fifth county tour now. I don't know when this is going to end. I'm not complaining, but I'm saying maybe he found a sweet spot there and he's trying to take advantage of it. The next thing we're going to be talking about is the opposition bloc's path to victory, Camp 2023. The opposition, we have the CPP, we have the Rainbow Coalition, and we have other parties. We even have our independent guys that are going to be contesting against President Weah 2023 for the presidency. What is the path? We see something that looks like a primary is already emerging in the CPP. You see the Bwaka, the ANC, and the Unity Party supporters are exchanging jabs. I don't know if that's going to, that's supposed to be healthy, but this is not something that we are used to. Normally, the presidential candidates are determined even before the parties are formed. This time around, we are saying that the CPP, a collaborating political party opposition, they have three ways of determining their standard bearer, either through consensus. They all come together and say, hey, gentlemen, what do we do? Let's go this way, that way, and then they have a consensus on who to represent. The CPP has the standard bearer, and then that person will go and pick a vice president. The second way was to use the voters' perception survey. That is, they're going to send out a polling, and then from that they poll and see who is favorable to lead the CPP. If that failed, also they use the primary where they're going to compete. And so anytime you ask any of the supporters, they say, well, let the process play out. Mr. Cummings always said, let the process play out. We can determine the standard bearer ahead of time. Let the process play out. So right now the process is playing out. So our question we're going to be asking Robert is, what is a sure path for a victory for the opposition bloc, especially the CPP? So anytime now, Robert will be joining us. By the way, Robert Monsiokpare, he's the leader of the One People Revolutionary Movement. He's the publisher of the Parrot newspaper. He's a supporter and a speechwriter, he tells us, of Mr. Joseph Newman Boakai. He's going to be here, and we're going to be asking him. My colleague, Anthony Sie, the political bulldog here at Focus on Liberia, is all set. This kind of thing excites Anthony, and he just can't help himself when it comes to politics. And I don't blame him, because Liberians live, eat, sleep, and drink politics. And so we're going to be talking to Robert on the opposition perspective. In few minutes, Robert will be joining us via phone because the situation in Monrovia is raining, so the connection is poor. We don't have that in other places. But when it comes to Monrovia or Montserrado or Liberia, connectivity, internet connection, all these are problems. How long can we wait to get to that place where we can have high-speed internet connection and we can talk to people right there in Saclay, in Glay, in Paye, or in Vubadu in Liberia? It's still a challenge, and we're talking about Monrovia being a challenge. Okay, Robert is trying to join us again. Robert.
I hope this works. It's just crazy.
Right, let's see if this works.
I hope so.
But Robert, who is responsible for this connectivity issue? Is it the opposition or the ruling party? That's a joke.
I think it's a technical issue. I think because it's raining on the highway and something. I don't know, because we've done everything to get the phone effective, but I think it's not the phone. I think it's the network. It's just bad.
Okay, Mr. Quara, let's get this started. Let's see if we can manage this.
Do we have a Can we use that?
The alternative is that I call you on WhatsApp or you call me on WhatsApp. I got the speaker connected already, and you will be more audible.
Okay, so let me do that. So we don't get disrupted again.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So I'm calling you now on my number.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the opposition perspective. Bear with us. This is the reality. We try to connect someone from Monrovia. We have this challenge, but don't go away. This is Focus All Liberia, where we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This.
Mr. Sear, unmute yourself, please.
All right, folks, at this time, we want to welcome you to Focus on Liberia, to our program, The Opposition Perspective, with Robert Monsiokpada. Robert is being securely connected right now via phone, and he can hear you loud and clear, and you will be able to hear him loud and clear. Like Dennis tried to tell you, Robert is an opposition figure, and he is a supporter of Ambassador Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai. Mr. Okpada, welcome to the Opposition Perspective.
Thank you for having me, Ashley and Brother Chad. It's a pleasure to join you. Let me greet fellow citizens, both in the diaspora and at home, many of whom I share commonalities with. It's always a pleasure to come and give our thoughts and lay down our thoughts on the politics of our country, content of our country, and everything that concerns the format of our country. So it's a pleasure to be
here. Thank you, Robert. Thank you for joining us. Let's go straight into this. The president is on probably his 5th county tour. How is the news of the president's county tour being played in Monrovia? Is it something people are celebrating, or are people getting tired with it now? What is it that what's the feedback from the people?
Well, from the onset, I think it was welcome. Well, after 3 years and some months, people expected that the president would have earlier visited the counties and get
folks, bear with our connection. Fallbacks with all the connection there in Monrovia is not good. I see on my phone here they say reconnecting. Let's just hope that he reconnects and so that we can continue on this interview. The program you are watching is The Opposition Perspective with Robert Monsignor Padre. Sorry, he fell off. Dennis, I think we have to make a decision here. Even by phone call, the connectivity is still poor. You know, we can decide to do a little commentary and let the audience, because we want them to hear from somebody from the opposition, you know, on the issues that we have prepared for Robert. So
for the next 30 minutes, we can discuss that and let our audience chime in. And then Robert, we can reschedule Robert when the connectivity improves.
Yeah, we can do that. And so, Dennis, I was saying, let's start with the president trip to Lofa County, Lofa being one of the counties that the president, since he started this county tour, I think this might be the last county so far, and tactically he made it to be the last. And when he showed up in Lofa County, he did not show up as usual with his able lieutenants, that his ministers. Folks in the opposition see them as being sycophants. I know that's politics, that's what they tell us. But this time with the current vice president, someone who has not been seen with the president for months and months, and not only that, someone who has complained about some political, ill treatment on the part of not only the president but the CDC. And she is on this trip. Does it mean that the current vice president, ideas that has been floated around that, hey, she might be charting a new path and that she will not be with the CDC in 2023, does it mean that that conversation is something that's not going to come to reality and that she's on board with the CDC? Is that the goal here?
Well, I think people are listening, no matter how, people in power pretend not to be listening or hearing the people, they are listening and they are taking cues, right? So, yes, that story was out there. In fact, we heard rumors that the president was trying to replace her and all that. But they're listening and they're trying to say, hey, let's make some amends here. Because you see that I think when the president visited Bond County, the vice president was not with him. And so he was criticized, I mean, on all sides. In fact, people criticized the vice president that, hey, she's trying to do too much. Her agenda should be to promote the agenda of the president. But whenever she is talking, she tried to promote herself, and that's not good. So she was criticized for not being a good vice president. She was not being like what Mark Pence was to Donald Trump. So they say, well, this is wrong, and you are inviting fire on yourself. So I think this goes both ways. The vice president who is trying to chart a new course, and the president is trying to say, okay, I mean, we're in this together. Or this lady give us Bond County. I think even if she doesn't deliver Lofa, we can make a dent into the VP's number, VP Buakai's number in Lofa County. But what I wanted to say is, historically, I said it before that the vice president has not really been of much, significance when it comes to running the country. Presidents after president in our recent past put them on the side. But what I want to say here is a president visiting the other parts of the country. We have a country where the whole country was ruled by an elite group in Monrovia. So let's go further back to the founding of the country, where it was started on the coast, and gradually indigenous Liberia, or the in-war counties, were being added to Liberia. And so when a president leaves and go to visit the interior, it's like a privilege. This man, the elite group, someone from the high up, has come to see us, even us. He has come to identify with us, and so people were happy. I think that same trend continued today. And because of that mentality that really we are not part of the country, or we're not supposed to benefit. So anytime the president comes or anytime he gives us something, is a favor. And so most people in the interior of the country tend to vote predominantly for the incumbent. They support the incumbent. They say, well, I mean, take Tubman, for example, how he really, worked with the people to keep them like, I'm your father, this dominant father politics that was promoted by Tubman. And since that time, it is a privilege for people in other parts of the country to see the president. And so we expect anytime the president goes there, this pomp and pageantry, to what extent that translates into actual support, actual vote, that remains to be seen. But welcome back, Robert. And Robert, if you are having difficulty, see if turning your video off is going to help. If you are having trouble, turn off your video and let's just use audio. Okay, we lost Robert again.
Robert, we lost him, Dennis. I think I sent him a message that next time I hope he sees that message and follow that. Let's just continue. You're making a very good point that the idea of a Cuban pretty much gaining some favorability from most voters, especially people in the counties. Robert is calling here, Dennis, so you continue.
Right. That's
yeah. General.
All right. So that continues. Now, the President Weah is in Lofa County. All right. Robert, someone is saying, Remy, there are two schools of thought here. Sam Wallow say, call and get on audio so you can turn your video off and we can just hear you through audio. The second one is call us through Messenger, because our viewers are dying to hear from you, Robert. So get that working. So WhatsApp, Messenger, or
get it from the border setting or I get a network.
Okay, Robert, can you hear me?
You watching anything? You watching?
Robert, we can hear you. Is it better now? Yeah, it's not better yet. Let me try Messenger.
Robert has not even started talking. And John Sonnenberg said Robert can lie. John, you can wait like you're the man first. Sam Wallow said Robert should turn off his camera. I'm telling Robert, but it looks like he's not hearing us. All right.
Mr. Quada, we can
At
hear you.
Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. This is the opposition perspective with Robert Monsiokpade. Robert also hails from Lofa County, like Vice President Boakai. And the president is visiting Lofa. We want to hear a perspective on that tour. Besides, we see the path of the opposition to victory 2023. As we wait for Robert, the opposition.
And I don't know how long we're gonna wait. I think we should let Robert go. The connection is not working. And I don't want us to, I know the audience are patient, but I mean, how long can they be patient when the person they should be hearing from does not have a better connection for us to be able to do, because we try all the options, video and WhatsApp, it seems not to be working. So I think let's go through the questions that we have for Robert, and let's see if we can, chime in on those questions and bring the viewers in.
And viewers, we want your comments. The first one is the president's tour to Lofa County. We've shared some views on that already. What I was saying is our people outside Montserrat, they used to the president visiting, but we don't know how this turned into actual support. The economy is also bad. And so when you see your president, sometimes that's the only activity in town. And so everybody is there. But to what extent this is going to impact 2023, it remains to be seen. And Mr. CA, what is the president's goal? What is the president trying to accomplish with all these tours? Familiarity, support, election, development? What is it?
Well, politically, when a president makes a visit of such kind, there are many things that they're trying to accomplish. They try to connect with the people. President Weah won this elections, and it's been over 3 years now, and he has not gone to the people that elected him to say thank you. So what I'm hearing from folks in the ruling party is the president is trying to go to the people that elected him to say thank you. And another thing he's trying to accomplish is to be able to tell the people that, look, I'm not only here to tell you thank you, but to tell you that I am your president. I am with you. I want to hear from you the things that you want to see in your county. I want to hear from you directly so that I can see if I can address those. Now, there's a political side to it, because he's running next election. And so he wants his visit to connecting to the people so that it will translate into a vote comes 2023. Now, there where you see the president is making this effort that, look, I'm coming with this project and that project, trying to tell them I care for you. I have not forgotten you since you elected me. I know you have issue with your hospitals or your clinic or your school. I would do that. Hey, I know you've been living in darkness. I'm coming, I'm bringing solar pattern lights, something you have not seen before. And you hear from the folks in the CDC that President Weah has accomplished in 3 years, while no other president has ever accomplished in their entire time as president. Can you believe that? So here is the CDC now using the president trade to be able to actualize what they have been claiming all along, that the man is the best president. So that is why you see these symbolic projects like street lights using solar panel. I think they went to Nambo Kongere, but all the way in Grand Cru County, somewhere in the Bois area, I saw Fonanti Kofa, who is now the deputy speaker. Now with the president, I understand he has joined the CDC. They're lighting these solar panel street lights to wow our people and to also war them comes 2023. So these are the goals that the president and his party so they're trying to use this one stone to kill 3 birds at the same time. But then there's a great point you made earlier. In Liberia, most people left to see the president, especially people in the counties. They don't actually get sight of the president because the president does not live in those counties. Yeah. So whether they are for the president or not, when the president shows up, they want to see the president. People are less busy. I mean, this is no insult to them, but economic activities in most of the counties are virtually dead. I mean, I remember playing checker and ludo for nearly 4 years in my area at Nikru Town. I was looking for a job. I couldn't find a job. Later on, before I started doing some little teaching. So during that time, anytime there was little noise somewhere, I would go and stand to see what's happening. So
let me stop you there because you talk about checkers and ludo. And on the checkerboard, they call me slow poison. Ludo, blood sucker. So when you say ludo and checker, please don't go there. Let's go straight to the point because you're trying to tease my appetite now, because I don't think you can stand me. But coming back to the president's trip and these little projects, I think for me, someone who was born behind God's back, you know, in my little town of Dodweken, there was this missionary that were in the place probably from the 1930s, late 1930s, 1940s. And I mean, they built a very good mission, a school, very, you know, but when they left, there were still some lights, some things that they left behind, right? And so there was this one light pole that was on the mission. Guess what we did? We went under that light to study at night. And also these bugs, the ones you can eat, can come to them, and then we catch some, we roast them, and so putting a light in a rural village, in a rural town. Forget about, you know, what we may think that, oh, how is this sustainable? Oh, this is just solar panel. Oh, this is just small project. To someone like me, 9 years old, 10 years old, living in Dodweken, that light means the world to me. So I believe what the president is doing is going to have impact, because the people, if you are really in dire need, you are concerned about what's going to take you to the next day. So the person who gives that to you really saves your life. Because I remember I was in Dodweken. If you came there and you put street light in Dodweken, that we can get out instead of being controlled by the moonlight now we can switch on our own lights and go and play outside. For us that have maybe one lantern for a whole community, now we can go under the street light and study. That's a whole lot. And no matter how people look at them from afar, I think the president is reading the people and see what they like. In fact, no president had gone there before. I also remember during the war, they said Charles Taylor passed through my town. And people were saying, since the time of Barclay, none of us have seen a president. So a whole generation would die off without ever laying eye on the president. So if the president can go all the way in Grand Cru and dance Nyanyaji with the people, I think to the, you know, well-off people in Monrovia, this may not mean a lot, but for someone in the interior, that's the world to them.
Then there's a good point, right? Because it's my own experience. I remember when Lone Star Corporation started. They started with Synca at 65, the Nokia, and all these kind. That was too expensive for me. I was uncheckable. Something that when I meet you, I can beat you flat. I know you try to cut me off on that point there, but you come into Minnesota in July, we'll try to have a bowl prepared already for your defeat. So then I'm trying to say that I couldn't afford a cell phone, but then what's it called? Cellcom went into Liberia. Cellcom carried this phone we used to call Bonanza. It was the B headphone, and it was sold for practically like $25. Even at that, I could not afford it, but someone bought me one. Because at that time, too, in Negritan, I was politically active. I was the news guy the old people would come to. So somebody bought me a phone. Dennis, you gave me that phone today, I can't use it. But the way that I was seeing things at the time, that was huge. At least I have a device to communicate with, to send text messages to somebody. But somebody probably who might have lived a better life in Monrovia, you gave them that phone, they will not use it. So to your point, somebody who's seeing life for the first time, it may not make any impact in this person's life economically, but just by seeing it, maybe a student just going on that light pole to study, whether or not it will stay on for months and months, they don't care. But for me, who have seen light, that for light to be light, it must be sustained. It must be there anytime I need it. When I have that kind of light and it goes off, I will not vote for somebody who will carry just a solar panel light to me, and that will not be sustainable. I will not vote for that person. But somebody in Dodweken, in any other place, who is seeing such a light for the first time, chances are that person will vote for that person who carries that light, because they have not seen that before. So that point there is something to take into consideration. It must translate into vote for the president. But again, why if Dennis, that student is hungry? Would the person still celebrate that light? Why if the teacher is not being paid, so that teacher is not going to school, and with that student asks a question, hey, My teacher is not coming to school because the government, for example, has not paid my teacher. Will that student still vote for example, President Weah? Because there's street light, even though he doesn't see his teacher anymore.
Mr. Sia, what the government of Liberia have done consistently to the people, especially in the rural areas, is what we say complete abuse, right? So when somebody is being abused over and over and over, what do? Sometimes they blame themselves. So take the light situation, for instance. If that light goes off, that person will still say, well, the president tried best. It is our commissioner or it is our town chief who failed to do X, Y, Z. Because this is something that you feel that this is a privilege. They don't know that this belongs to them. This is their money. That this president, when he was playing football, he had money. He probably lost the money. And now as president, the entire country's resources are in his charge. And he can do whatever he wants to do with them. And so he's just taking the crumbs and giving it to them, but they don't see it that way. Another example, my friend Dieta told me when she was at ENI in Sino, there was this car. Someone brought a car in their little town and parked it there. The car couldn't even move. But what the boys did every evening, that car became a symbol to go around the car and just lecture. Just seeing the car in their town was enough. I knew this was not moving. It couldn't take anybody from point A to point B, but because it was there, that was enough. And the politicians understand this, and they continue to abuse our people and get their vote for free.
And then there's this county tour that President Weah has been on. It's like no other that we have ever seen.
No.
It's like the president, for some reason, has found himself with this county tour. Weah is a guy throughout his professional career as a footballer was being cheered. When he came to the presidency after winning, he was being cheered as well. But in no time, that cheering, completely dwindled. And he was becoming a little more isolated. And then the idea of his county tour came in, and he went on the first one. He saw people lining the streets. Just as when he visited Liberia many years ago, we will see that when he played for the Lone Star and that Lone Star boss were going to Monrovia, you will see people on the streets, right? So this is Weah who is seeing that again. So he's like, okay, this is me. And so he is over. I mean, think about, he could make a single trip to visit all the counties, but he divided it into 4 or 5 from this one to the other one. And all his cabinet members are following him. He's receiving cola. He's being called Mr. President. People are clapping. And then little projects here and there. So he's feel that this is who I want to be. And so he's overdoing it. And like the point you are trying to make, for somebody who does not understand that this is the main job he's doing, and that he's using my country money, or he's using my country to bring me little crumbs. They don't see it. They see it as a president, well-intentioned, who means well for them and bringing all he can to them. They might be inclined to vote for him. So I think he's overdoing it. He sees a political dividend in it. Yep. He sees that he can win. And so these are the things I think that are going through his mind. And he sees a pathway. He feels that he's redeeming himself with the county tour and sitting in Monrovia, inspecting projects, will not do anything for him. And to you who listening, I am doing an analysis. I'm telling you what I think the president might be up to, because many of you will say, oh, the man's in the president corner. That's the thing you people do. So that's what I see.
Yeah, and before, let's conclude on this quickly. Before the president could go on this county tour, what was happening in Monrovia? Number one, we see that the president was breaking grounds all over the place, right? Because it looked like, to me, what I personally feel is like the president maybe don't have much to do when it comes to what really it takes a country to do, right? Maybe he's not used to it. I don't doubt his performance on the job, but he's picking these low-hanging fruits. So like, okay, it's boring. Just, it's boring for me to sit down here because, maybe he's not calling cabinet meetings to, hold people accountable, ask for their plans, ask for, deliverables and all those kind of things that we really, used to seeing from other presidents, ministers, meetings, and all these things. So what the president did, when there was a little project, 1.5 mile road, he will go and dedicate it. When there was this little clinic being built, he's there because he was looking for opportunity. Again, what was happening? Montserrado County, the stronghold of the CDC, they were losing ground. 2 times they were defeated by Abraham Darius DeLong. So was that, okay, what else can I do? And it looks to me that the president was first afraid to go to visit those counties because he didn't know what to expect. And then when he tried the first time, people line up celebrating other people saying, you'll be the president for life. The same kind of praises Tubman received. When he saw that, he said, oh my God, is this why it is? Okay, I'm going to stretch this thing out. So just as you said, because I'm this celebrity guy used to people lining up. Most celebrities, they don't like to leave the spotlight. No, Brett Favre and all those people, Michael Jordan, when they play, even in their old, they still want to play because they cannot afford to be out of sight, out of mind. So the president now, he has formed his niche. Go to the countries that people will celebrate you. And so he wants the chair. He enjoys it. He loves it. The group going with him. He doesn't have much to do in Monrovia because he has not really been what we know to be presidential when it comes to doing the actual work. And so he loved these fun activities. He's a fun guy. He's a celebrity. He's an athlete, and he's enjoying them. And that segue me to as a segue to the opposition, right? The opposition is, people tell us that Mr. Cummings is around the country, but I think what the opposition is not realizing, that's what the president has realized. Go to these places, make a big deal about it, let the cameras follow you. I don't know what stopped Mr. Boakai or Mr. Cummings from doing that. President, we are going to Lofa County to Jewel Howard Taylor. Alex Cummings going to Grand Jeda County to Yeke Koluba. What's wrong with taking, what's his name? Zoe Penno. What's wrong with taking anyone from Grand Jeda, or at least from the Southeast, who is popular with the people, or who can convince the people that, hey, this is your son. But instead, you are going with Yeke Koluba, and the people of Grand Jeda say, oh, you insulted our president, you can't leave, we're going to stone you to death. President Weah is studying the situation. He's making some moves. I don't see those moves coming from the opposition. What's going on here?
Then there's solid point. I was just about to make a point, so I will amplify that by saying you are spot on and you are on point. Maybe you should be on point on our program here, on point, because you are on point, other than Jerome or Gilman, they're on a bad sedition. So to your point, Dennis, yes, what is wrong with the opposition? These are the people that want the presidency, in my opinion, more than President Weah does. They make effort along with Boakai. They didn't get it. They want to unseat him. Boakai is on record to saying, I'm the only guy who can take President Weah down. But what is he doing? As a way of trying to connect with the people, the best way is what President Weah is doing. He's going from county to county. Now, if the opposition can do the same thing, I think they will be able to cut into whatever gains, if any, folks, that the president may be making here with these trips. Look, if you went to anybody's village, they will appreciate you. They will remember you. And if you happen to be the only person to visit their village, to break cola with them and leave, and no one else does the same, they will remember you. So the opposition, they can criticize all they want, but these things can be translated into votes, and they should not allow President Weah to have that upper hand on the issue of visitation. Cummings has made some effort. He has visited the Southeast 2 times to my memory. He has been visiting other counties. That is not enough. Boakai needs to do the same thing. And if we have had an opposition that speaks with one voice, actually, Dennis, they should be making a tour as a team, where you have Boakai, where you have Ure, where you have Cummings. And, but again, the thing is that they are yet to decide who's going to be their ticket. But even at that, the fact that they claim to be a unit, it shouldn't matter most who's on top of the ticket, because you claim you are a unit. So as a unit, visit one county to the other. I don't know what the deal is. Are they afraid that, oh, we may not have cola or we may not carry a project? No, just visit the people. Something minimal. Let them see you. Tell them thank you, for voting for you, even though you didn't win, but the fact that you were able to gather some votes from those counties, you just want to tell them thank you. And you think you can serve them better than what President Weah is doing. And even make the case that, look, President Weah coming here after 4 years or after 3 years, this shows that that man does not have your time. And after 3 years, what is he bringing to you? Tiny little solar panel light. And remember, he's using your own money, by the way. Make that case. But they are not doing that, and they are sitting down, and I don't know when they will ever do that. So yet, you are spot on there. I think the opposition needs to make similar trips to the county to visit the people who vote they actually do want.
And that leads us to our next point, which is the opposition bloc's path to victory 2023. If the opposition will take down, first of all, I must register that the statement by former Vice President Bouaka that he is the only one, was an unfortunate one. You shouldn't be making that statement. I don't know if you will agree with me, but you shouldn't be making that statement. The statement you should be making is, all of us can take down Weah, but I will do X, Y, Z better. That's how you run a primary campaign. But I don't know what the opposition is thinking. Instead, they are fighting a bit of primary, which, Mr. Cummings said, well, let the process play out, but that is not any process. They are tearing each other down. And to your point, they don't even have to go as a unit to these places. If the three of you has opposition, you are opposed to the president. That's the end of story. You don't need all the moa and all the pomp and pageantry, but put your team together and tour the counties.
For the counties.
If the same TV crew behind yourself, okay, you may not have the same result because people expect something from you when you visit, but the little you have, organize regional football and kickball in these areas. Make yourself visible. Do something, because if you wait until you go there to canvass for their votes, I'm afraid they may not, look at you. But let's look at the opposition, their path to victory. I mean, every opposition lived to be the next president. And the question I wanted to ask Robert on this, does the opposition see itself as the president in waiting or the government in waiting, the alternative, or just a pressure group that will put pressure on the president just to see things going better? Because I don't see any alternative plan for them. I don't see them countering the president in a significant way. I don't see them striking so that we can see a stark difference between what we see now and what we expect from them. I don't see that. So you started this thing better than I do. You were the political guy here. What is the opposition bloc's path to victory? What are they doing now?
Then I want to be telling you more about what I think they think. And I may attempt to share some little insight with them. But this is what I know. And before I come to that, then it's your last point that you just ended with. If the opposition can visit a county and renovate just one school, we're not in power, but this is the little we can do. I think it will cut a little more into what the president may be trying to gain, right? Because they can build a school, they can renovate a school.
Or just send volunteer teachers.
That's it. Send volunteer teachers.
For a month. Just teach for a month.
Teach for a month. Do that. But so to your question, Dennis, talking about the opposition, whether or not they see themselves as a government in waiting, whether the opposition see itself as an alternative, Dennis, they will tell you, yes, we are the alternative. But if you say you are the alternative, it is not the words that you utter. It's actually what you do that people will look at to say, yeah, truly you are the alternative because you are doing things in a more different way. You are doing things in a better way. When you say alternative, that means it's an option usually better than what we have. So what we've seen consistently in Liberia is most of our political parties, they are running, or individuals running, right? They don't usually articulate their plan. Their plans are not known mainly to the Liberian people. They just pick a slogan. For example, Ambassador or Vice President Joseph Imam Bouaka. Now, I'm not sure whether this going election he had a plan or a platform. I would think he had one, because to be running for president, you must have one. But what we heard for the most part was love Liberia, build Liberia, grow, and that's the thing that remain with us. And I'm saying you have to go beyond that. Yes, those are catchy words, probably that might be a representation of your plan, but you have to find a way that your plan is known to the Liberian people and not just a phrase. Like CDC today, propo. Now that propo today, people are criticizing it because just the words propo are not enough. People must be able to see evidence of propo in their life, in your policy. So to the point that, does the opposition see itself as the alternative? They will say yes, but I am yet to see that, because by now we should see a plan being articulated by the opposition. Hey, this is the plan that we'll be running on, because you want to, the plan here should be a song. Translate it into a song. Let people sing it. Let your voters own it. Let them know it. And then they all can join you to set it or to all other Liberians who might not be in your corner or right now. But we don't see that, right? And even the way they communicate. I mean, talking about shoes for President Weah, talking about President Weah going on the beach swimming, and these are the kind of things you criticize, and you call yourself an alternative. Go to the bread and butter issue, Dennis. We just heard recently that the government just submitted a budget, right? Have you heard the opposition? I guarantee you in the next 2-3 weeks, maybe the hearing from all now, they might do it. They will not come up with a statement against that budget and trying to critique that budget, to even say the budget is not in the interest of the people. You will not see them do that. So such an opposition in no shape or form can tell me, Anthony, say that it is an alternative, because I want to see the alternative plans, the alternative steps that you are taking to really prove to me that you are the alternative.
And let me give you a few examples just to buttress what you've just said, being the alternative. Because, I'm tired of hearing, we've been doing this thing, we've been asking for plan. What is it that you're going to do differently? And we don't hear that. Take, for instance, the printing of money. So when the president or the government submitted to the legislature that we want to print money, the inclination, what the opposition in the House started doing is say no. But so some people say, okay, if we don't print money, what can we do? And they're where they got stuck. So what they end up doing? Vote for it, because you don't have an alternative. You don't have a plan. You don't have any counter. Okay, we see, and I'm going to use Mr. Ellis coming, because he's from here, right here with me in Atlanta. Where are your people on finance and economics that are going to read this thing now? So the printing of money became like to do it or not to do it. Oh, okay, they are only doing this. They want to print the money so that they will take the money and steal it. That's not enough. You got to present something. If you were the one in power, what would you have done? We can see that they all swallow the lie that they were printing money because of liquidity issue. On the show yesterday, Young West, they proved that the bank statements, the statements from the central bank prove that we have a lot of money. So if somebody is telling you that there's no money in the bank, you want to ask why, based on, hey, your statement here says we have 100 billion. But now you are telling me you have no money. So how can you reconcile this? They couldn't do that. So they said the thing was print money or not. You gave an example of the special budget. Right now, there's a special budget over 400 pages being submitted to the legislature. In that special budget, they say, well, we want to transition from the old fiscal year to a new fiscal year. So in order to do that, let's have a budget, a special budget that's going to last from July this year to December this year. And here is what we're going to do. They present that budget, and so far, zero. We are not hearing from the opposition on what the alternative budget will look like, or critique this budget using their own numbers. So what is it that you're going to do differently? If you want your people in the House to vote or not vote for the budget, what are the reasons and what is the alternative? We see something like even during President Salif's term, the education system. The former education minister introduced this bridge school project, which is complete garbage. But the bridge program, that's what the government was doing. Now, we see President Weah. I think what we hear most is you pay WIAC school, you pay WIAC fees, you waive tuition at the university. Is that an educational plan? No. So Mr. Cummings, Mr. Boakai, the other one who is people calling the ATM machine, what is your plan? What are you going to do differently when it comes to the educational system? Are you going to bring back bridge? Are you going to pay school fees like President Weah? Then it comes to something that have been in the news lately, the War and Economic Crimes Court. We hear that to do it or not to do it. Has the opposition been able to give us a plan to convince people? Right now, we see people are turning. After maybe 3 years, both Cummings and Boakai say, oh yeah, we for the War Crimes Court, or the United Party, ANC, we for the War Crimes. But how is it going to be implemented? What do you have in your head as a way to go about this? Take the economic crime, which is maybe lower hanging fruit than the War Crimes Code if you are afraid of war laws. How are you going to recover? How are you going to even get statements that somebody stole X, Y, Z? What are you going to look? What will be the process? No plan, no policy, nothing specific. It's just that we want to replace Weah because he's corrupt, because he's dancing, he's swimming, his shoes are expensive, and all that. I too, like you, I don't think the opposition is really projecting itself as the alternative. Maybe they're doing it, but I'm not saying that in numbers, in specifics.
Dennis, and you are point on. And here's the thing I'm going to say: the way we're trying to provide the analysis here, you're not going to find it anywhere else. People in the Liberian political space, for some reason, follow noise. The noise is not going to help us, and some of the noise can just be disturbing. Now, for example, the noise that going around right now that the opposition think is anything is Sekou Kalasko, presidential aide, is carrying a gun on his side. Should he be carrying a gun? I say no, he should not be carrying a gun. Why he shouldn't be carrying a gun? Because we have EPS that is charged with the statutory responsibility to provide security not only for the president, but also for Interact. So if you are the presidential aide to the president, how come you carrying a gun on your side? Does it presuppose that the president too might be carrying a handgun in his hand? Now, you can talk about that. But the opposition has made this thing as though, yes, we got something. This is a winning issue. No, it is not a winning issue. We know people who are in the hem of power in Liberia can do anything and get away with it. Your message should be directed to the people, something that appeals to their emotion. Then is politics. At the end of the day, sometimes people make, most time, right? People make decisions on the emotions. Yes, some people go for the plans, but there are many people that vote on the basis of emotion. So how do you appeal to the economic emotions of the people?
Yeah.
Poverty is on the increase. How do you address poverty? And these are the things you're talking, all right? These people don't have plan. What is the economic plan of the CPP? Tomorrow you want to be in power. What is your economic plan? How is it different from what President Weah has today? What is your plan on security? You talk about the war and economic crime. I'm just trying to buttress you. So how will you implement the war and economic crime court? Now we have Boakai saying, oh, I'm for A. Mr. Cummings, after dancing around this thing for so many times, now he say he's for A. We have the audio tapes here focused on Liberia, 2017 presidential debate. All of them. The only person to his credit who said yes was Ure, the guy who's being accused. He said, yeah, I want it. Cummings would not say yes. Boakai would not say yes. Even to Mrs. So rest in peace, what's his name? Broskin would not even say yes to it. The very Weah who said yes to it yesterday, he said, well, I've never asked for it. I don't know what you're even talking about. Can you believe that? So you project yourself as an alternative when it comes to the implementation of the War and Economic Crime Code. You said something that I want to chime in on, Dennis, that look, send the War Crime Code thing, you think it's a little bit controversial because some of the war laws, they have their followers and you don't want to put yourself in backbone. We get the politics. What's about the economic aspect of it? Can you submit a bill through your legislature in that house of politics. In that, no, for now, we are going for the economic crime code because there's too much corruption here. Let's see how we start prosecuting these people on the economic crimes that are being carried on today. They don't even have a plan. They don't even come up with an alternative budget to the budget. And these people want to tell Anthony C.A., the guy who tried to look for, who's looking for a better Liberia, can't lecture me about Bill Rowe or this, that. No, I'm not going to buy that. Many people have said that before, and we got to nowhere.
And see what the President Weah did. Because there was no plan, President VP Bouakai run and say, roll. What did President Weah do? He gets in power.
Yeah.
Say, roll. Look, Mr. Bouakai, why are you not clapping for President Weah? And that's why if you don't have specific, that's what happens. And with President Weah, you know, and I would say with certainty that with the government being this bad, and we can't have any specific alternative coming from the opposition, that really it shocks me that you can't come up with something. But let's go to our comments. I know there are some people, they are not happy with me, they are not happy with you. And
yeah,
my favorite.
Then, before the comments, there's something I wanted to do here.
Okay.
I want to know, in a worst case scenario, how many paths does Bouakai have to a second round compared to Cummings? But maybe we should leave that for Rabba. Those were the things we have for Rabba. Yeah. So let's go to our comments and hear from our viewers.
Marcus said we are talking nonsense. So nonsense.
Nonsense.
Johnny said we are talking trash. Darling, what we said, Dennis, you like gossip. Yeah. So keep your comments coming. There are more. I thought those ones were funny, and so we should get them out of the way.
Right.
Before we go. This one is from E. Remingray. Said, with Jewel, it is only a matter of getting her share of the loot. I think the president will step up to meet Jewel's expectations well in 2023. She's going nowhere. Besides, this president cannot afford to upset our women voters by replacing Jewel with, say, a male candidate. It was symbolic for the president to bring Jewel along as someone with ties to Lofa. Jewel Bain, besides, it sends a message that the ruling party is together. That's from
E. Remingray.
E. Remingray.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Michael said we are a disgrace. The same man who said we're talking nonsense.
Yeah. Let me read this one from Agatha Shelley. You just want the president to do things that cannot happen overnight, but it is a process. I think they twirl will heal fruit with these few things left. I don't know.
Yeah, and the thing with Michael, I wanted to say, when we're talking about he said, we are is a disgrace. Now when we start talking about the opposition says so nonsense. And that's the part of this job that I love. Abi Tala said, in-depth voter education is strongly needed. People are still celebrating hand pumps, and I will add solar panel lights.
Let me send the one from Sam Wallow, Dennis. Okay. Wallow said, like it or not, clearly the twirls are effective. There is no denying that the opposition will need to redo their outreach efforts. Yeah.
Remy come back say we are on point. The level of communication of the common man in the village is not the same as same for the people in the diaspora. Sam Wallow, like it or not, clearly the tours are effective. There is no denying that. The opposition would need to redo their outreach efforts. And like us or not, you will agree that we have a point here.
Yeah.
John Sonneborn, are you serious with that question? Do you know the amount of people he took with him they are talking to one another? See, Ellen did the same tour, so what are you guys talking about?
This one from Varian Powerhouse. You hit it right. Sedition are now saying we has accomplished more in his 3 years than any other president, and these people are making this judgment based on most of the promises Weah is making in these counties, of which not one has been accomplished since his tour. Well, that's the point the person is making there.
George Weah wasting his time allowing him to spend some of the stolen money he's keeping. If Boubacar visits any county, he will be stoned. That's why he's sitting in rehab, charging his battery. Gentlemen, says something here. Sam Waller disagree here. He said, no, Dennis, in a primary, it's each candidate for himself or herself. You speak for and promote yourself, not your opponents. Darren said, Boubacar cannot afford a county tour. This is our comment from YouTube. I think Robert is using a phone with low space. Okay. We passed that stage now.
Yeah, let's see here. They get from Alberto Cooper. Me and my guys from the CDC going to the ANC. We believe that Mr. Cummings will be the best man for the CPP presidential candidate 2023, not Oka GMB.
And my question to Alberto here is, how does Mr. Cummings intend to fix the economy? How will he grow our GDP? How will he reduce inflation? How? Larry Kennedy said, thanks for holding them to their words in War Crimes Code from 2017 debate. Yes, we have the video, the recording here. Wilson Kamau said, I don't think disclosing their plan now is the best time. Here is the point. The CDC didn't say exactly what she will do for Liberia and Liberians, but after winning, they are now doing what was the plan of the Unity Party. So do say it not means teaching the CDC what to do. So let the people see and hear what the government is doing. If these little things matter to them, so be it. Mr. Sia, you understand that?
No, I don't understand that.
He's saying, well, they're not supposed to disclose their plan now. Cummings, Boubacar, or Ure, nobody's supposed to tell us what they're supposed to do because the CDC didn't do that. So when the CDC won, they started using Unity Party's plan. So right now, when they tell their plan, the CDC will use their plan.
Then it's like the person saying that the opposition that claims to be the alternative, they actually not alternative. Because if you want to be an alternative, if we can agree for the sake of argument that the CDC did not show any plan, then if you are the alternative, do it differently. That's why it means to be an alternative. Show us a plan. What's wrong with that? I don't think the CDC is going to steal. Even let us agree the CDC will steal the plan, right? If the CPP is elected, how would the CPP implement that plan? There's no way they can implement it.
That brings me to a series that we are starting right here on Focus on Liberia beginning next Sunday. It's called Let's Have a Plan. Since nobody is giving us a plan, we are bringing professionals together who will present plans on what Liberia should look like. So we have Dr. Wokley S. Page going to present the agricultural plan. Say if Dr. Page was called upon, in a room to say, what do you want to see when it comes to agriculture in Liberia? This guy studied this thing, he works, and he wants to give us an idea of what it's supposed to be. Dr. Michael Werner. This guy, besides his doctorate degree, he got 4 masters in different educational areas. He's going to present the educational plan. And our goal here is, even though our brother here doesn't want the CDC to steal the plan, but we are giving the plan so the CDC or whoever to steal it. We want Cummings to steal it. We want Boubacar to steal it. Steal it. Go ahead and steal it. As long as it benefits Liberia, we are fine.
Certainly, Dennis. Let us steal the plan because we need a plan for our country, a plan that will change that country. We need it. So keep your comments coming. We're about to close the thing. We have another show coming up on top of the hour. It's called On Point. And this is where 2 guys from different political persuasion go toe-to-toe to see who is on point. Dennis, that's it. And at this time, folks, we will take a little break. And when we come back, we will be closing. Stay tuned.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia. From education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
Dennis Jah is right here. There he is, and he is part of the Focus on Liberia family. Folks, again, we are about to come to the end of this broadcast. This is our program, The Opposition Perspective. Dennis, go and read a comment.
Yeah, I wanted us to read this comment because Sam Wallace said VP Bouaga gave an outline of his plan in his last interview that his strategy for moving the country forward is agriculture, roads, tourism, and sanitation. Sam, are you serious? We have heard these platitudes before. Oh, we'll invest in agriculture. We'll invest in roads. We'll do this to the economy. We'll invest in education. That's not a plan. Tell us what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. That's what we're talking about.
Then you know what that reminds me of? You remember Hammond King, the Republican guy that was running when they asked him for a plan? 999, 999. That was his plan. We never saw that plan. And what happened? He got defeated. So look, Mr. Wallo,
and that man even had a point. He said the tax code will be, I think, 9% for this, 9% for this. So at least he was talking something specific when it regards taxes. But here we don't hear anything. Mr. Cummings said we'll grow the budget to
1 billion.
Billion. You know, 1 billion. You know, budget. And now when you press people on budget, they can't even read the current budget that the people presented. So I don't want to.
They don't even read it. And the thing is, on the Finance Ministry website, you opposition, go and read that thing and tear it apart and tell all that is not in the interest of our people. And Mr. Cummings too, like you were saying, he has a point there, right? You have to grow the budget. There's $500 million that will be around. Elaborate is not developing. So let's grow the thing to $10 billion. That I know why Cummings, who comes from a corporate world, he works for Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, I don't know their entire capital they're operating about. I will assume is far above, you know, about maybe $100 billion. You come to Liberia, 4 million people, little or no development, in talking $1 billion. Cummings, you need to get serious here, man. $1 billion can't call it for Liberia. That's little money. We want to develop this country, all right? And you're talking $1 billion. But again, that's why we heard, where is the plan? I would have loved to see Mr. Cummings saying, look, we will grow the budget to $1 billion, and this is how we're going to do it. Let those specifics be done in the speech. Let those specifics be on the website. Let those specifics be everywhere for Liberians to read and challenge it, so you can have the opportunity to reshape it so that it can be able to meet the challenges of our time. We don't see it. Now Bouaga came with arts. You can agriculture, tourism, roads, and then sanitation and security. Good, right? That acronym arts, tell me, where can I find it to read it? How will you carry on the security plan? How will you carry on the agriculture plan? How will you carry on the sanitation and tourism plan? How? How will we generate money? Why are the projections in there? Why are those projections based on? Dennis, that's why I agree with Robert Monsignor. Some of these people, they are intellectually lazy. They're lazy. You have people bring a team together. You were saying to me the other day, see, you've been following this thing. Do these political parties have their economic team that's studying the economy and coming up with plans? Do they have people for agriculture? Do they have people for security? No, they don't have. All of them waiting for a social media live show for them to come and listen. When they finish listening, when the conversation is in Bouaga favor, they feel accomplished. This is intellectual laziness, and this is not how you build a country. You people who are serious about the politics, you people need to get involved and get this thing done. No one's gonna give you power on silver platter. But hey, Dennis, our people are good at that, right? Yes, yeah. DeLon today he showed no plan. He said, I'm gonna turn the light on. That was a plan. He got elected 2 times. So they know what they're doing.
Yep, I'm taking advantage. Let me read the last comments and then we close. Dave just said, President Weah is touring the country without making mention of the pro-poor agenda. Does he understand why it is? Why is he not promoting the agenda across the country? Very good observation.
Yeah.
Sam Wallace said we should invite Boakai to explain his plan. We've done that several times. These people don't come. They want to go to a partisan media where they will cheer them on, or where they will have a promo instead of an interview. I think you watched his first interview, and that was nothing but a public relations stunt.
Public relations stunt with no substance.
The opposition has Aaron said the opposition has a plan, but they will give it to us after the convention. So what are you telling the people going to the convention? What are you telling them? Just vote for me because I'm cute?
Mm-hmm.
You know, he said invite the candidates, they will explain their plan. They don't come. They are afraid. Lucini Sago said Labrador is a mess. It will take a finger to save the country. Well, thank you all so much for coming. Ellis Jones is talking about intellectual laziness. He's giving you kudos. Yeah, people are lazy. Anthony is right. People need to get serious. They need to get to work. By now, we're supposed to see your shadow cabinet. People are supposed to be talking.
Yeah.
You know, that way you can talk to specifics of the issue.
Yeah, specifics, you know.
Yeah, but you are none. You're just blabbing.
Introduce your economic team. Say, hey, should the Liberian people choose me as your president? This is my economic team. It is from this thing I will pick my finance minister. It is from this thing I will pick this person. You understand? Introduce them. Let people see what they have. And now you put these people to work. I mean, Dennis, we have to go, man.
Yeah,
I don't care how we say this and make it simple for these people because of the intellectual listening. They just go sit down and say, oh, the people will vote all because we are is bad. Yeah, we are is bad. How good are you? How good are you? Just by talking on Facebook? Is that how good you are? But that's what it is, Dennis.
So on behalf of all of us here at Focus on Liberia, we say thank you so much for watching. Join Jerome Gilman and Josh Tuley on top of the hour at 4 for On Point. Until then, we're going to close with the songs that say, whether you believe the CPP or the ruling government or any opposition to make the difference, we are all Liberians and that's what matters. Good day, folks.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our